So we are doing a research methodology with Stadio, and I'm sure from the notes that you received from your lecturer, your study modules and the assignments, you see that there's an assignment that you guys are supposed to be doing for research methodology, which is basically a proposal that you're supposed to do. So doing a proposal, you're going to be selecting a topic, you're going to be doing some objectives and etc. And us as VUT, we would like to see how we can assist guys so that at the end of the day, you've got a nice work with a good task for the module that you are doing. So what we have decided to do is we are going today to assist you in terms of how do you draft topic and etc. Just the introductory part. And this lecture, like I highlighted in the group, is free. It's for everyone who wants to join. Feel free to ask a couple of questions here and there. However, after the lecture today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a link, video, so that you can have access to it. And also, I'm going to send some details for Facility Unlimited tutors, the payment details, etc. For those of you that want to proceed with the lectures that we'll be doing every Monday at 7 p.m. For research methodology, just going through the whole process of the proposal. Now, the price is 750 Rand for the whole process, for us to go through the whole assignment with you, trying to teach you the various things that are important to know and to do when you are doing your proposal. So it's 750. You can pay this 750 over, you can split it over 2 or 3 months, just depends with how can you afford something like maybe 250 a month or something like that. But you just need to make sure to pay your 250 deposit, and then the balance you can pay it off over a period of time. Our professor is his name is Knight. He has been doing research, I think, for the past 6 or 7 years. So I'm sure you will have enough information to help you guys in all of your studies. Then if there are any other questions that you might have after the lecture for me, feel free to ask them. I will be around. Professor Delight, are you there?
Yes, thanks so much, James. I don't know if I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
All right, thanks so much. All right, welcome everybody to our introductory lecture for research methodology. Right, I understand we are mixed. We have those who are doing MET400, and we also do have those who are also doing MET101, if I'm not mistaken, or 100, right? Okay, I thought maybe for a start, what we can do is to just brief each other on key aspects as far as research methodology is concerned. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing a PhD, whether you're doing whatever doctorate, master's, or you're doing just an ordinary report. There are important aspects that we're supposed to grasp as far as research methodology is concerned. So these are some of the aspects that I will simply highlight for a few minutes with you. And to those of you who will be catching up with us as we go on, or we go ahead, you're most welcome to do so. Right, so maybe what I can do at the moment, let me just share my screen here. So I just took maybe a snapshot of some of the requirements as far as topic formulation is concerned. So as you can see, there's need for you to come up with a preliminary research topic, which you guys, it depends with the area of interest. Whichever area you're interested in researching, or which is area amuses you, depends. So that's what we write here under the preliminary research topic. But of course, I will explain what are some of the expectations, or what are some of the components as far as the preliminary topic is concerned. Okay, some are saying they can't hear anything. I don't know if it's one person or everyone. All of us, we can't hear.
No, we can hear you. I can hear you myself. I don't know for others.
All right. So I think someone who is asking, perhaps their mic, they need assistance with their mic. Maybe James, you can attend to that person, please. All right. Sorry for that. Let's go back. I was saying you need to come up with a research topic pertaining to your area of interest, or an area that amuses you, or an area which you think is worthwhile doing some research, right? So I was saying, as far as the components of that topic are concerned, or what are the expectations when you're formulating a research topic, which we say it's researchable. I will explain when it comes to that, maybe under the subheading that I wrote here in bold title. Right, then the other thing that they expect you to write, and when you're proposing a topic, is of course the problem statement. Some they call it the research problem, right? So this is basically what is the motivation behind you pursuing that topic or area of interest. So it needs to be very clear. Maybe we can say in black and white, so that you leave no confusion, or you leave no any doubts as far as the area of interest is concerned. So this is what tells us, why are you doing that research? Or is the justification, if we can say in a way, of the motive behind you doing the research. So the other expectation is the research questions. Perhaps we can take this also as research objectives. It's one and the same thing. Of course, there are some institutions that really want to differentiate these two, the research objectives and the research questions. But most of the institutions, or most of the writers, they simply take these things as one and the same thing. So we will be talking about the research objectives. As you can see under yours, the topic, when you're submitting the topic, those of you who are submitting the topic, if you are not required to submit the topic, is one and the same thing. You are supposed to incorporate this stuff in your proposal. So as you can see, they say here, what do you want to achieve with this research project? That's the research questions. Or in other words, what are your research objectives? Right, so it's one and the same thing, like I highlighted, the research questions and the research objectives. So the last aspect that they expect you to clarify is the feasibility of the study, right? How feasible is the study? So I will explain what do we mean by feasibility. Right, so far I think all of you, maybe you are with me. Right, so let's talk about now the first aspect, which is the title or the research topic. So basically, when you are formulating a research topic, or let's say you are coming up with a research title, we expect you to tell us where are you conducting the research. That's what I highlighted here, saying the organization, right? Or maybe it can sometimes be an area, which is maybe just a case study area, right? So we need really to know where is this research being conducted? Where is it going to be conducted? I mean, and is it an organization? Is it a community? Is it a city? Is it a country? Perhaps a continent? I don't know. So an organization, or maybe we can say in other words, you should specify the site, right? Which is where are you going to situate the research, right? Okay, then also in the title, to know what is the investigation all about. You have to specify to us what is it. Then also maybe to highlight it, how are you going to do it? I know it's not clear as I say it now, but don't worry, I'm going to give you an example as far as the title is concerned. Then also there's something that I wrote here about variables. Right. So if I can maybe emphasize on this, most students struggle to come up with a good topic or a good title, whether you're doing a report, whether you're doing a master's or whatever project that you're doing. And most students get so excited that they want to research something that they're not sure about, or they just want to formulate a title which is maybe to them more attractive. This is not what we do when we're doing research. When we're doing research, remember it's a journey. So you don't want to say when you're now in the midst of the research, maybe you've done chapter 1 and chapter 2, then you start realizing, no. The area that I chose or the title does not really speak to what I want to do. So I urge all of you that when you are formulating a research title, you have to really sit down and think based on these aspects that I just highlighted, the what aspect, the how aspect, and what are the variables, and what is the organization. And we also, normally, I come across students that just maybe formulate a title, and this title pertains maybe, let's say, to the financial sector. Normally experience this with students trying to undertake research in the financial sector. Let's say it's a bank. You want to research something about Standard Bank, and the student really maybe reveals or maybe shows that the title is connected to Standard Bank. It cannot maybe be used maybe to any other organization. Then later on, the student, after writing the entire proposal, Standard Bank refuses you the permission to conduct that study based on their institution. Then they come back, they say, oh no, look, my title, this is only possible for me to do this research with Standard Bank, and now Standard Bank doesn't want me to have the permission, doesn't allow me the permission. In the first place, what it means is that you didn't sit and think through your title or the research topic. All right, I just thought maybe let me drop this based on experience. Perhaps it can help one or two. Like maybe let me just say Standard Bank has introduced a new system, right, of banking, and is the first bank and the only bank using that system of banking. So you want to investigate about that system, right? But you know very well that there's no any other bank that is using the same system. Later on, they deny you permission. Then you come back, now you're starting to say, what can I do? And we now say, this topic, you cannot apply it to any other organization. So what it means essentially is that you've wasted a lot of effort, right? And some students at the end of the day, they get discouraged, say, oh no, you see, I'm just quitting this. It's not working. Or they get so stressed. It's because you don't sit down and think through your title or your research topic. So there are three things that I spoke about. You are supposed to be sure about the organization or the site. You're supposed to be sure about what really do you want to investigate. Make sure that your topic or your title is open to several organizations or several maybe case studies, so that in the event that you are denied permission by one organization, you can easily switch to the other. And also make sure that if you want to investigate something, or maybe you have connections, maybe with the organization or whatever case study that you want to undertake the investigation. Because it doesn't make sense for you to say, I just want to investigate something about Standard Bank, but you know no one in Standard Bank. You don't even know anyone. Then you just tell yourself that I want to do this research with the Standard Bank. So mostly it's advisable for you to have some organization or someone who works at that organization that you know very well, that it leaves no doubt as far as you being granted the permission is concerned. All right. Maybe let me quickly say here, just to think of a topic which is maybe relevant as far as I will suggest that maybe we can look at, I will suggest that maybe we can look at this this topic, right? Okay, all of you, I think you can see my topic here, right? So the title, let me say, I am suggesting a title or a research topic, the effect of COVID-19 on the organizational performance. Right, let's say, oh, no, I don't want to say on the organizational performance. Let's say on the employee performance, so that we don't put too much stuff here. Right, the effect of COVID-19 on, let's say, on employee performance. Right, okay. Let's just go back to the aspects or the variables that we spoke about here. I said the organization, right? So if you are going to say the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance, we need to know the site or the organization, right? So let's say I will just continue with Standard Bank. If there's someone who works at Standard Bank, it's your advantage, of course, right? So we just say the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance at Standard Bank. Do you see I have addressed this issue of the site or the organization where we are undertaking the, or of course there's someone, so you can as well continue with this topic. All right, so the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance at Standard Bank. So we have addressed the issue of the organization or site. Okay, what now? Let's talk about what it means. What do we want to investigate? Of course, it's very clear here. You can see from what I have written here, I want to investigate the effect of COVID-19. That's what I want to investigate, right? The effect of COVID-19. So it's very clear, that's what I want to investigate. Okay, how, right? How are you going to investigate this? The how part is answered really by something that you can put prior to talking about the effect, right? Okay, most students, they just take the topic like this to say the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance at Standard Bank. Then you might come across supervisors or maybe the internal reviewer who tells you, no, your topic does not mean anything. Then you say, but why? It's the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance at Standard Bank. The organization is there. Even the what aspect is there that I'm investigating the effect. But even if you listen to what I'm saying, you are investigating. That's the how part, right? Or else you are assessing. Or else you say the inquest into the effect. Right? So this word is very important. We have to know, what are you doing? Or how are you going to do it? So in other words, you have to specify it based on your topic or the title to say you are investigating. Then it's now clear to everybody that no, this is an investigation. But some, they just write it as the effect of COVID-19 or whatever. It depends with your supervisor. But for me, it's very important for us to know, what are you doing? Are you investigating? Are you assessing? Is it an exploratory study? It depends. So we need this how aspect. Right, let's talk about the variables. Usually, I come across a lot of students who say, please say, can you help me with this topic? Then they just write, okay, let me say this is not there. Let me remove this. Right. Okay, can you see this topic? It now says, investigating the effect of COVID-19 at Standard Bank. Do you think there's any problem with this topic? For me, I think there's no problem. What do you think? I don't know. Is there someone who wants to tell us something? Someone? Because, of course, it says what is being done. We are investigating, of course, that's the how part, the effect of COVID-19 at Standard Bank. That's fine. Then they come to me, they say this was my topic. It's just advice. Then I tell them it doesn't mean anything. That's what I tell them. Your topic does not mean anything. Then they say, but why? The organization is there. The what aspect is there. We are investigating effect of COVID-19. The how actually is there because that says it, investigating. But because they didn't give us what we call variables, this one. So someone is so excited, they write the entire proposal, but there are no variables. So at the end of the day, the topic is meaningless if we don't have what we call variables, at least 2 variables, right? Sometimes there might be even 3 variables. Okay, and I don't want to go too much into this type of variables because we have the independent variable. We have maybe if we are talking about quantitative studies, I don't want to confuse some of you. So I'm going to leave this about the independent variable, the mediating variable, and also the dependent variable. I will talk about that, or we will look at that maybe for those of you who will be continuing with us. But for now, let me just say there are those parts, or there are those aspects of the topic that highlight to us what the key variables under investigation. Or in other words, those are what we call the key terms or the key words, right? So in this case, I have COVID-19, right? COVID-19 is the first variable, and employee performance, that's the next variable, right? Employee performance. Okay. What I mean is a variable. It's something that you can investigate. So in this case, we are investigating the effect of COVID-19. So in other words, COVID-19 is affecting something, but not on Standard Bank. We want to investigate the effect of COVID-19, because Standard Bank is a bank. We can't say COVID-19 affects Standard Bank. It affects maybe the employees of Standard Bank, or maybe it affects the performance of Standard Bank as a bank, you see, right? So we are saying COVID-19, we're investigating the effect of COVID-19, right? On what? On employee performance. So it means, in a way, COVID-19 is affecting the performance of employees, right? So we can say here, now tell us which one is the dependent variable and which one is the independent variable. So dependent variable, it means it's something that's depending or that's being affected by something. So in other words, COVID-19 is the independent one, right? Then performance depends or is being affected by COVID-19. So that means this one is the dependent variable. Okay, so I don't want to explain more about this. I said we'll talk about it because here there's also another variable which we call the moderating variable. So okay, let me not do this because some of us might start saying we're getting confused. So let me just end by saying we do have the independent variable and the dependent variable, right? So I hope you are benefiting, that your topic, it's very, very important for your topic to be clear as far as the organization is concerned, the what aspect is concerned, the how aspect is concerned, and even the variables. We need to know which one is the dependent variable, which one is the independent variable, right? Some of you might be saying, I want to do a quantitative study. So this topic is based on what we say quantitative study. So if you are saying what is a quantitative study, don't worry. I will address that as maybe in the oncoming, when we'll be doing the other lectures later on, right? So I won't explain about the quantitative study. But quantitative, maybe let me just say, it's something that you can express or you can investigate based on numerical, maybe on numbers, or maybe based on numbers or quantities, right? If it's a qualitative study, there's something that we are supposed to do on this topic. We can change this word, which we say effect. We can change it to say the influence, right? So like I just highlighted to you, some of you, they are good at just throwing words. I want to investigate the effect, but then they say, I want to make my study qualitative. Then you hear the supervisor telling you that your methodology is wrong. Then they say, but why? My methodology is wrong, but I don't know why. I don't get it. It's because of this word, which we say effect. If we are doing a qualitative study, we can use the word influence, right? There is a difference there. Because the difference is effect, you can express it quantitatively, in quantitative terms or in numbers. Then the influence is something that you can express in words, which means it's qualitative. All right. So I hope you can see it. So if we're formulating a topic, this is what we are supposed to look at. Do we have the variables? Do we have the organization? Do we have the what? And do we have the how? Right. That's as far as topic formulation is concerned. So whichever area you want to look at, if you want to look at supply chain, maybe if you want to look at governance, maybe you are tired of corruption at your workplace, or else maybe you have been implicated in maybe corrupt practices or unethical practices. Perhaps you are not to blame. So you are really worried and you want to investigate about corruption. So don't just think, no, I want to investigate about corruption and you say investigating corruption and Standard Bank. No, that's not the way we do it. Think about these variables. Think about the what aspect. Think about the how aspect. So this will help you to come up with a good topic, which we can say it's a researchable topic, right? Okay, I don't want to lengthen this lecture since it's an introductory lecture. So I wanted to explain to you about this aspect that we say the research problem. So we will reserve this aspect for the oncoming lectures, right? But I want to go straight to research objectives. Why do I want to talk about research objectives before the research problem? It's because these two are connected. As soon as you formulate your topic, the next thing is to formulate the research objectives, right? I say this because most students make a mistake in creating the topic, in formulating the topic. So as soon as they mess up the topic, they cannot come up with clear objectives. So it becomes now difficult for them to create objectives, right? Okay, I think, let me just mute someone here. I don't know, James, are you there? I don't know if I have the right here. Please mute your mics. Please mute your mics. Right, thank you. Princess, please mute your mic. All right, thank you. All right, so let's talk about objectives. So if you do have a good topic, you have formulated your topic, you can now go on to create what we say research objectives. So what are research objectives? This is what operationalizes your study, or this is what makes your study functional, right? Or it gives life to the study, the objectives, right? The second thing is just a specific statement which define measurable outcomes. If I talk about measurable outcomes here, we can as well say those are the variables that we're talking about, right? Those are the study variables. Those are what we call measurable outcomes. So remember, your objective should be a specific statement, but it should pertain to the variables that you have created or the variables that you have pinpointed in the topic, right? Okay, the other thing, it should include a statement of recommending solutions to remedy the problems. So let's say you are talking about the problem of COVID-19. It's affecting employee performance. But you don't just say, then you want to conduct an investigation without leaving a leeway to offer solutions or to offer a way of maybe addressing the problem. So you see, so your objectives should include those variables and also another statement to try and address the problem.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, please, someone should mute their mic here. Please, please, please. If you are joining us, make sure you mute, you put your mic on mute, right? Please, if you have any questions, don't worry. Just put it under chat. I will address them. Right, okay, thank you very much. All right, so let's talk about research objectives. Let's say you want to formulate research objectives pertaining to this topic. So I have seen a lot of students struggling when it comes to literature review, but it's not like they don't know how to write a literature review. The whole issue is they messed up the topic, then they mess up the research objectives. So your literature review, or what you call your chapter 2, is supposed to be derived from research objectives. It's supposed to be the previous studies that have been conducted before, right? That address or that speak to the research objectives. But where do you get those research objectives? The objective is supposed to be derived from the topic. Okay. So, like, let's take this topic. We want to investigate the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance at Standard Bank, right? So your objective is, how can we make this topic, how can we operationalize this topic? That's the question. How can we make it researchable? In other words, what specific statements can we derive from this topic so that at the end of the day, we understand the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance? All right. So I normally advise students to say the first objective should be a very simple objective, but at least addressing one variable in your topic. Right. Perhaps let's say you want to address COVID-19, or you want to address employee performance. So your objective can say, of course, those terms of whatever, to determine, to analyze, to investigate, they're important. We'll talk about them later on. But let's say to detail, the first objective, let's say to determine the level of employee performance pre and during COVID-19. Right. This can be your first objective. Oh, I know someone is asking me, how can it be? Or how do you really arrive at this objective? Okay. Remember, we want to investigate employee performance. So our first objective, although we are talking about COVID-19, our first objective should be related, especially or usually, to the dependent variable. Employee performance is important. That's why we want to investigate the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance, because according to Standard Bank, employee performance is very, very important. Right. So if you want to understand more about employee performance at Standard Bank, because of COVID-19, it's important for you to understand what was the level of performance before the outbreak of COVID-19, and what is now the level of performance given that we have this problem of COVID-19. So it might be important for you to understand, because you might think COVID-19 have got an effect on employee performance at Standard Bank. In other words, maybe there's no effect. Just imagine, there's no effect. So it's important for you to say, what was the level of performance before the outbreak of COVID-19? And then you can see, oh, there's a change. Perhaps there's a decline or a decrease in performance, in employee performance after the outbreak or during COVID-19. So you can now see that, of course, there's a problem. There's a problem. So this problem might be attributed to COVID-19. Okay, it's not like all objectives should be like this. Someone might say, no, I don't want to determine the level of employee performance pre and during COVID-19. They can say to investigate the importance or the significance of employee performance. Of course, it's important for you to say it's Standard Bank. In your objectives, don't forget to say it's Standard Bank. Right, okay, it's Standard Bank. This can be your first objective. But for those of you now who are doing masters or PhD or whatever doctorate, you can take this as your second objective. But for those doing reports or even masters as well, I don't advise you to create a lot of objectives because it will confuse you at the end of the day. It's better for you to just have 3 objectives, reports and masters, that's fine. But if you're doing something else, of course, you can have more. So these objectives that I have written here, that slash to investigate significance of employee performance at Standard Bank. You see, you want to understand about employee performance, right? But first you can say, okay, why is employee performance important for Standard Bank? Why is it important? Because you want to investigate the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance. But why is this employee performance important? Why didn't we investigate the effect of COVID-19 on Standard Bank customers? Why is it now we want to talk about employee performance? It means employee performance is important for Standard Bank. So we might need to really understand what is the significance of this employee performance for Standard Bank. Perhaps Standard Bank, the success of Standard Bank hangs on employee performance. That's what it means. So you might want to really consult literature, previous literature, to say, why is employee performance something that we are supposed to worry about? So that's what we say, an objective. Okay, this can be a starting point, right? It means this is very important, please, because we shall go to design a research instrument. When we are designing a research instrument, we are supposed to design that research instrument based on research objectives. So you cannot just walk into the interview. You are saying you want to interview someone at Standard Bank, and the first question that you pose, you say, tell me the effect of COVID-19 on you or on your performance. You can't say that. You're supposed to be at least polite. Huh? Sometimes you're supposed to say, oh, greetings, how are you, right? Okay, can you tell me something about why do you think your performance is important to Standard Bank? You see, that's the way you started. Huh? Then someone tells you, yeah, my performance is important because of A, B, C, and D. Perhaps let's say you're talking to a manager at Standard Bank. Why you, Mr. Manager, you think employee performance is important? That's how we are supposed to design now the research instrument. So you cannot design the research instrument if you don't have good objectives. Because if you don't know what you're supposed to ask and participate. So please take this seriously because it will help you now when you're coming up with the research instrument. All right. I don't want to take forever here. Let me finish research objectives. Some of you maybe thought this is just a small, maybe topic. It's just something that's not significant, maybe. If we say title, if we say research objectives. But I want you to attach importance to this because this is what helps you to come up with a quality project, dissertation, whatever. Okay, the second objective, let's talk about the second objective. For me, I can say, okay, now that I have asked about the importance of employee performance or the level of employee performance pre and during COVID-19, then the second question is, so does COVID-19 affect employee performance at Standard Bank? You see, so for those who will be doing masters or honors level, that's fine. That will be your second objective. So it will be now, remember, it's supposed to be linked to the topic to investigate the influence or the effect. It's up to you if you want to use influence or a qualitative study or quantitative study. That's up to you. All right, but for me, let me just say here to investigate the influence Right, let me make it lowercase. The influence of COVID-19 on employee performance at Standard Bank. Remember, we said your objectives is supposed to be a statement incorporating the variables, right? So as you can see, the first one, there's the variable employee performance, but the second one now, it's not only employee performance. What we want to investigate is the influence of COVID-19, which is the independent variable on employee performance. So we now know the importance of employee performance or what it is. So the next question is, how is COVID-19 influencing or affecting that employee performance that we highlighted in under objective 1? So the third one, like I said, it should be a statement recommending solutions. So the third one, of course, is to recommend Standard Bank, right, strategies to improve or increase, whatever, improve employee performance in the first or maybe you can say during COVID-19 to make life easier. Some of us, right, during COVID-19. So since we are saying employee performance is important, we need to say now, what are the strategies? What can we do? You cannot just undertake a research for the sake of enjoying it. You're supposed to give us solutions, right? So the last objective, of course, for those of you doing honors, and of course, those of you doing masters, you can take it like to recommend to Standard Bank strategies to improve employee performance during COVID-19. Okay, so let's not throw a lot of objectives here because they will confuse you. These objectives are important for us when we are writing the literature review. These objectives are important for us when we are designing the research instrument. These objectives are important for us when we are now collecting data, right? At the same time, this is important when we are doing data analysis. Okay, so for now, I think for the introduction, it's fair. Is there anyone with a question under title and research objectives? Anyone with a question under title and research objectives?
Yes,
Okay.
Can I ask?
Yes, please. How are you?
Fine, thanks, and yourself?
Yes, yes.
And good evening, everyone. I just want to find out how long should a topic, like perhaps how many words should a topic
All
have?
right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Topics normally, they should not exceed 13, 14 words. That will be too much. So the words in general, 8, 10, that will be fine. So let's count this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it's 11, huh? So normally your topic, 14, 15 words, that's fine. You should not exceed that. If you see yourself exceeding that, it means you are not thinking carefully and you're not giving it a good thought as far as creating the topic is concerned. So basically 13, 14, 15 words, that's fine. I don't know if you're answered.
Yes, I'm answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Anyone with a question? Okay, anyone with a question? Oh, so it means everybody's happy, I assume. All right, this was as far as the introductory lecture is concerned. Of course, when we will be continuing, we will be starting from where we left. Then we'll be going to the research problem and also looking at the feasibility of the study. This is before we look at also the research background. All right, so as far as this introductory lecture is concerned, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. James, I don't know if you're around.
Yes, I'm around.
Okay, let me hand this back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you, Professor, for the input and wonderful lecture. I'm sure you guys are enjoying enjoyed yourself and learned one or two things. So as I've highlighted, we have got lectures every Monday at 7 for research methodology. If you are interested and want some guidance in terms of how to do your proposals and etc., please join the lectures. It's 7 for the entire semester. You can split it up into installments if you want. You can get 250 a month or something like that if you want. Then every Monday, the lectures are there with the professor. We'll be going through the whole process of a proposal, just like we did today. We did the topic and the objective. Next week, we go do the next stage, and it means that you can actually write your proposal in the background. And if you have specific questions, then you can ask your specific questions in the lecture and receive the proper guidance that you need. Then in addition to lectures, we also do assist with all the other different subjects that you might have. If you have a question in terms of how can you assist me specifically, whether it's a proposal, it's an assignment, etc., you can contact me. My number will be in the group. You can just contact me on WhatsApp or give me a call, and I can see how we can assist you with that subject. I encourage you to do that, because we are always available to assist you in everything. Are there any questions for me before we end the lecture? Questions
Yes,
for me before we close the lecture? Let's go ahead.
Yes, I just want to find out the template that the professor was presenting. Is it possible that we can have it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine. We can send it through. Not a problem. But it's one of the templates from SBS. I'm sure you are usually provided with it from the university. But
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
okay. Any other questions? Okay, silence means everyone is happy. Like I said, I'll post a link to the video in the group. I'll post the banking details, and I will also post a small message that explains everything else that you might need. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you all join through, and we'll be together next week on Monday.